Okay, day 5 of the reading rush. I'm awake. Let's do this. So, today's book for the reading rush is Notes of a Crocodile by Chu Miaojin. Is that right? Chu Miaojin? God knows. I took like Chinese like 101 for work years ago. And I thought that I had sort of like nailed my various like Chinese name sounds at that point. But obviously I didn't. I started this book last night. I finished my book yesterday early and sort of got a jump on this one because so I picked a bunch of like really short books or whatever for reading rush so that you can read them all in a day, and the page count on this one is like 237. It's really good. It's like, you know, manageable within a day. But as I was sort of reading a bit of the beginning bits, I was like, oh, like it's not something frivolous, you know, like I sort of thought, oh, you know, go through it really quick in a day, but it has quite a lot of things that mean other things and things that are really weird, you know. She'll say just something really, really weird and you have to just stop and like think about it for a minute, like that was really weird. So I realized it was going to be more than a day's job. So I think I got like a little bit less than halfway through last night. So now I've only got so I've knocked off 100 pages basically. So I've got just like 150 or so left, and I think that's pretty manageable within the day. But I'm really liking it so far. It's like, it's weird, mind, but I like weird. Like, you know me, I like weird. Like, so the idea roughly is this girl, she's in university, right? So like university aged for this whole book, and it starts out with her finishing university, so she's like graduating or whatever, and then it sort of like scans back. So now she's sort of telling about her days in university. She's in Taiwan in the 90s and she's a lesbian, but she's obviously like having trouble sort of dealing with that, especially I guess in Taiwan in the 90s. She's having a hard time sort of accepting that that's who she is. She's having a hard time sort of navigating the seas of, you know, lesbian relationships and everything like that. As she's going through university and she's like telling us about all these various people that she's meeting and like her run-ins with like friends and lovers and stuff, she's also talking about the crocodile. There's things that the crocodile does and there's ways that people treat the crocodile. And I was like, okay, I don't really get the crocodile. I think it's like a part of her. Like, you know, there's her and then there's this other part of her, which is the crocodile. But I was like, I'm definitely missing something. I need to like have a look into it. And I Googled the crocodile, and it's like, turns out that it's a symbol, I guess, for the LGBTQ plus community in Taiwan. So that has like opened up whole avenues for me. Like when the crocodile does something, you know, it's supposed to be, I don't know, something that people say the crocodile does. There's like a lot of stereotypes in it, like the crocodile eats like ready-made food in front of the TV, and like, you know, the crocodile buys certain kinds of clothes and like things like that. But like one really interesting thing is it's sort of like how society treats the crocodile. Like, first of all, nobody in society had ever heard of the crocodile. Nobody, you know, knew anything about the crocodile. Then there were news reports that there was a crocodile and people started talking about the crocodile, but they didn't, like, they'd never actually seen a crocodile, so they don't know what it looks like, and sort of all this sort of stuff, obviously pertaining to, you know, the LGBTQ community. It's weird, this book. It's weird, but I'm really liking it. Okay, we're on our way to Nero. Me, Anwen, and Naked Ariel.
No! I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing.
Wait till...
Do you want any jam?
Yeah. Okay, so the bit I'm on now, the narrator, who I'm pretty sure they haven't given us a name for her yet, and I'm not sure that they ever will do. But she is sort of like working in an office or something, and she has like an office mate, and he's just had like this huge meltdown because it seems like he's gay as well, and he's just had like a huge falling out with this guy that he's seeing or whatever. And it turns out that it's this other guy who she knows from ages ago who's super creepy. Like, creepy in a way that only a really like weird Chinese book character can be, I reckon. So like she met him and he was like, I want to see you, and if you don't come and see me, I'm gonna send you like a bloody finger. She's like, oh my god. So she didn't answer that, you know, as you do, you just ignore that. So he did send her a bloody finger, and like instead of her going to the police and being like, there's a bloody finger that I've received, she just like threw it in the river or the canal or something. She was like, oh my god, it's a bloody finger, I'm just gonna throw it away. But this guy, I think Meng Sheng or Meng Sheng, it must do. Oh my god, anyone who knows Chinese who's watching this, like, you're gonna have to let me know how these things are. This is like his description of himself, like, because he and the narrator are talking because they're actual friends now, even though he like forced her to see him and sent her a bloody finger. He says, so she says, tell me about yourself. He says, oh, perfect, flawless human being. My family's loads of money. I'm also so smart that it's easy for me to be the best at everything I do. I'm so bored that I wish I were dead. Whatever I want to do, I can do, and no one's going to stop me. When I was 12 and still in grade school, I pulled the pants off a girl, blah, blah, blah. I'll skip over that bit because it's disturbing. When I was 14, I joined a gang. I left home for 2 whole years. I hunted to kill and was hunted myself. Those were exciting times, but I realized I'd meet a gruesome, senseless end before I'd even figured out what the hell was going on. When the crocodile got home from work, I removed the sweat-soaked human suit clinging to its body and settled in for the night. Usually it hid in the bedroom. Hid because it feared the people on the living room TV might burst in at any moment and discover its forbidden feelings for so many people. Jay and the Spud are going to go for a play date with some other kids in the park.
They name Maria and Joseph, but the mommy name, I can't remember.
So I now have a bit of a dilemma. Like, I was just going to go to town, have a bit of a wander around, you know, get some coffee, maybe look at some books that I don't need. But now that this opportunity has presented itself for like a completely empty house, the first time it's happened in literally ages, you know, am I going to be wasting this opportunity by going to town? Like, I could be walking around the house butt naked, eating Doritos, you know. I could blare really weird music and no one, you know, would be disturbed in their meeting or like disturbed in watching their cartoons, you know. I could poo with the door open. I could do a million things. And I feel like, you know, I should really grasp this opportunity all the way. Just a few days ago, it launched a new product, the Human Suit 3, designed to meet the needs of those who exhibit latent crocodile tendencies. We hope that each and every one of you will upgrade your current suit for a brand new one. Damn it, I should have read this in Lincolnshire. Oh, I've heard about this one. It reminds me of sort of the Mudlarking book I like. Oh my gosh, I love things like this. Like things about facts about presidents and stuff. Oh god. Should I do it? Should I do it, guys? I feel like I should do it. Actually... Oh yeah, it's on Audible and it's for way cheaper. I'll just do that. Guys, this book was so good. So grim. I loved it so much. I sort of like the look of this one. It looks cool. Ooh, I love these little ones. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get this one. Oh my gosh, I love these ones. They're like modern stories based on the Mabinogion, like the sort of medieval Welsh epic. They're so good. This one seems weirdly familiar, but I can't remember. Did anyone say anything about this one? I don't know anything about this book, but I feel like I love the cover. Okay, I've got a bit of a dilemma about my kid. So she and I read graphic novels together in English, but she reads Welsh books with her dad, and I cannot for my life find any like graphic novel type things for kids in Welsh. Like, I know I have a couple of like booktube friends on here that are Welsh speakers. Like, do you know anything about this? Like, I know there's like a couple things, like there's like Tintin books, you know, and Asterix books, but they're not sort of quite what we're looking for. Like, they're a bit too sort of old-fashioned and like small and everything like that. Like, we're looking more like for like the Amulet type books that we read, but in Welsh. Anyway. There was this quote at the very front of the book, like ages ago, like last night when I first started reading it, about like your college days where you have like the most courage and the most honesty, you know, and the narrator's like, for various reasons, like, I wasted that time. And I have just been thinking non-stop about that quote. It's like haunting my whole life, and it's made me weirdly melancholy because I think I also wasted that, and like I do think it's true, yeah. And you're like, when you're at university, yeah, the most courage and the most honesty of like your whole life. And I do feel like I wasted it. Anyway, I'm getting on in the book now. I'm getting pretty close to the end. I think probably just like 20 or 30 pages left to go. And I really like it. Like, it's really grim and sad. So the narrator's obviously, you know, struggling to come to terms with living in a society that's against who she is. And like, she's really self-destructive as well. And she was like talking to this crazy guy, right? So they like did the dirty, and now the crazy guy's like, oh, he's like really sad because he can see that she's like self-destructing, and she sort of looked at him, whose life is a mess, and it was crazy, and she's like, oh my god, he's feeling bad for me because I'm like self-destructing. She's like, I need to sort some stuff out. It like, you know, brought her to her senses about things. But it is like, she does like a lot of changing in the book. Like, she does a lot of like growing and sort of learning about herself and stuff, and I quite like books like that, you know, where there's a lot of like self-introspection and stuff. But yeah, it's really weird. Okay, I just finished it. Notes for Crocodile. And like the ending, like no spoilers, I promise. I won't like ruin anything. But it was weird, right? And I feel like it's the kind of ending, like if you're watching an independent film or like a sort of low budget artsy type thing, with your family maybe, or like specifically maybe my parents and like my dad, and like the sort of ending happens and then it sort of goes to black and like silent, you know, and then everyone's sort of staring at the silent black TV for a while after, and you're like thinking, oh, you know, it's very deep, like you're like digesting it, you're like, oh, that must have symbolized such and such, you know, and like what could they have meant by doing it like this and blah blah. But then dad's just like, what the fuck? Like, he wasn't in that time digesting anything. He was just like shocked by how like weird it was. But anyway, I did really like it. I did think it was really good, even with like the weird ending. I'm gonna have to digest the ending as well for a bit, I think. Anyway, thanks Bert for picking a really good 90s book club pick. I'm excited to hear what everyone else in the book club has to say about it. And that's the end of day 5 for Reading Rush and the end of my Different Continent book. So I guess for tomorrow, depends on the weather, because I have the 2 books that I have left. One prompt is the one to do with a movie you've seen. I'm going to read Persepolis for that one. And the other one is to read a book all the way outside. And this is Wales, where the weather is not likely to be good. So it might rain tomorrow basically all day, but the weather app thing changes literally by the minute. So I'll wake up tomorrow and look outside and look at the app and everything, and if it's just like projected to be the wettest day for ages, I'll just read Persepolis, and then hope for better things on Sunday. But I've only got 2 days left, so potentially it could be shitty on Sunday as well, and I'll just sit in like my backyard with an umbrella over me going, what is this shit? Anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye!